Greetings, community. It's Kevin of HP and Comics, and I'm here to bring you, another edition of my pre-order arriving. That's right. Well, I have a little over 80 books, and yeah, a lot of reads that I've been dying to get into. There's not a whole lot of spec type things that I got, but few. Most of these things are just titles and which that I've been really anxiously dying to get into as far as reading. So obviously, my weekend is all booked up. Starting off with Harley Quinn 24. Why? Well, that's because this is the first appearance of Harley Who Laughs. That's right. So I am starting off with this specky thing. I got three of these things, and we'll see. I kind of enjoy the whole laughy stuff. So we'll see how Harley does. Speaking of laughing, how you doing, Las Cruces? Appreciate you laughing at me and not with me. I hope you're doing well, man. And yeah, moving on. We're gonna get right into Little Monsters. And this has been a fun read, and it takes the perspective of a child who's been bitten by a vampire and is really not kind of grown into his own. So is just still trying to understand what it's like to be a kid, what it's like to be a vampire, and this goes on for over 150 years. It's a cool book, a cool read, and an awesome insight into something that's just something that I don't think anybody's really looked at as far as a storyline into vampiric life, especially a child's. Survival Street. This is an ugly look on. Yeah, obviously, dude. I'm sorry. Yeah, can't change it up too much for you. I'm trying. An ugly look at kind of what is presently and probably the future of what may transpire in certain countries. Definitely, we're seeing those of us that have money are I'm trying to remember what they call that, plutocracy, where the money rules. So that's kind of really what this is all about. It's definitely a woe tale of possible future goings. Golden Rage. This I hope doesn't happen to women because women deemed unsuitable and desirable are then thrown onto like an away place. Think of it as it's a island just considered of undesirables. Imagine a modern day Australia. Just kidding. Uh, Imagine an island in which they're just throwing all these women at to fend for themselves, and they, in some regards, have to develop all new laws, all new lifestyles, definitely of living, and it's pretty brutal. It's definitely not what most people would consider a way of retiring. Win. This is an awesome read for anybody, and definitely if you are a tween or older, I recommend this. This is really an interesting read, especially coming from James Tynion. It's something that he doesn't normally touch in as far as like heartfelt stories like this, and definitely doesn't play in the fantasy world much like this type of fantasy is. So I really would love to see that developed into a movie. Along with, I'd like to see this become a Netflix film. This could easily be um, it can easily make a Netflix film as far as doing these 12 issues into 12 um, episodes, and it really would make an easy conversion as far as being able to just storyboard it and shoot it. This would not be something that difficult or even that costly. I mean, most of it can actually be rendered, and so you could just take one studio and green screen more than half of it, and there you go. Just put one set or a couple of houses and some fakey woods area, and you're yeah. This wouldn't be that hard to convert Netflix. I'm telling you, this would be a good one to do. Nice House on the Lake issue number 11 is 11 of 12, and they're just that's the penultimate right there. So I'm looking forward to jumping into there, man. I'm really digging this the storyline. Can't afford the real, but I'm going to go ahead and buy the fake. I'm not a huge Deadpool fan, so I'm not going to go pursue the real one. So that's good enough for me. Speaking of the same, I mean, I like Robin, but this version of Robin, I'll buy this version of the book. Nothing against anything. It's just I can't afford it. Seriously, seriously, seriously. Um, Gold Goblin. Now this ain't the first appearance of the Gold Goblin, but this is the first issue of the Gold Goblin. Now I do have a couple of signed copies from Chris Campbell. I just never opened it. Plus, I didn't want to get into it prior and which that. Well, I ended up reading this. This is the first appearance of the Gold Goblin. So I have to read them in order, right? So I haven't read 13 yet. Matter of fact, it's quite possible that I really haven't even read 12 yet. So I have to jump back into issue 12, which I'm pretty certain I did read. Yeah, I read issue 11. So I got to jump on 12, then 13, and then I'm ready to go. The only problem about going ahead and getting, these. I did read 12. Cool. It is these things monthly is that, because I go to the shop too and I still buy stuff, is that I'm a month behind. Sometimes, seemingly at times more, depending on when it lands, when they do my shipping and all that. So I could be as much as, I think the longest I've ever been was 7 weeks back. That could be rather painful at times. I'll take it for the savings. Here we go. Spider-Man issue number 2. This is the pen slot version of the whole dark web thing. And, and I really enjoy what they're doing with this whole Spider-Verse thing. So, I'm liking the end of the Spider-Verse. So first it was the edge of the Spider-Verse, went through 5. Now we're in the end of the Spider-Verse, and that just tangles in all that dark web stuff. Don't be too confused. I know it can be. Just read it, enjoy the ride. It's pretty cool. So that really like that cover. All right, here we go with Venom, issue 13. Now I do have 12 in there, and 12 I do believe I did read. 13 I don't believe I did. This is one of my favorite covers right here. And this whole thing is pretty important when it comes to the storyline of the Venom story or what's going on right now because of this character right here. This character right there is Codex. Now we do remember him from the old Venom of the issue number 5, 6, and 7. Also in the Free Comic Book Day that was happening in 21. Well, we finally get to see it happening again. For those that were specking hard and lost a lot of money, well, now you can almost justify the expenditure by seeing it again, right? So there's my cover A's, which I also really enjoy. I want to make an acknowledgement of a buddy of mine that just is always there for me, both thick and thin, and is a supporter of this channel. And talk about a reader. This guy's got an insatiable habit like mine, and he decided to go, how should I say, to the concentrate level. And what I mean by that is most of us will go ahead and we lengthen out our draw of what we do in the sense of we buy our stuff monthly. You just go, screw that. I'm going to go ahead and take whatever came out in a month, and if they finish up in a series in 6 months, I'll buy that. Go ahead and give me the trade. Or what do they finish that after, I don't know, 6 years? All right, give me the omnibus. I'm going to do that. So he's like on the next level. And what I dig about that is when you want to go ahead and converse with an individual that has knowledge with the books that they read, well, they're obviously reading true books when they're going ahead and reading this, as opposed to just going, hey, this is issue number 7 of Strange. I could wait till next month. God. Hey, we're all different. We all collect different. We all read different, and it's all beautiful the same. You know what I'm saying? So, Doctor Strange issue number 7. I'm digging this. This is the way this story has been really progressing. Has been really interesting. Without Strange, it's still been a great read. That's not to say that, as you heard me many a times now, I'm gnawing. I'm just chowing on this bit of seeing Strange come back in a full way. At the same point, keep doing me that way. I appreciate it. Still, this is a great read. So If it works, it works. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I dig it. So just do what you're doing. Strange will come when he decides to arrive. All right. Hey, speaking of a strange type thing, here we go. Strange Academy. Um, on the first run from issue 1 all the way up to 18, they were doing character spotlights. So this is just a different version of doing these character spotlights. You're going to see this carry on through at least for the next 4 issues that I saw. All right. So on this one, well, obviously they're spotlighting. You know what I'm saying? So that's issue number 1, cover C. Yes, and I was just drooling over this. I have yet to actually read the first issue that came out, though it's on my other thing. I did try to pick up one yesterday. They didn't have the cover I was looking for. I was just looking for a cover A. They were getting me one from the other shop. I love the interior art. I love how he writes because it kind of matches his heart. So I'm looking more from Trad Moore. And I guess if we have to wait to get what we receive from him, it's fine. I'm just I would like to go ahead and bathe myself in a little bit more of Trad Moore's stuff, if that makes sense. So hey, let's get back over here. Strange Academy finals. So this was a cover B. I had to go do that. I'm an individual that I'm really, before it was just hardcore all about the spec, but now I'm really digging the art. So I definitely get, multiple copies, meaning just covers for the art sec, but I also get the multiple copies for, well, the obvious stupidity of specking. So what I've really been digging about this is, yeah, most definitely, is this has been a really enjoyable read. The whole DC universe is just oversaturated with the whole Dark Knight, and Joker stuff. It's sprinkled in with some Harley and Catwoman. But when they go ahead and bring other characters and stuff like that, I dig it. At the same point, when they do something that is kind of ran out and tired, and they threw a new spin on this, and thank you very much, I'd like to say, Mr. Mark Silvestri, that when they go ahead and do something cool like this, the man who stops laughing issue number 2, which they did a great job in issue number 1, and then they come out with something like this with Mark Silvestri, the Batman and Joker Deadly Duel. This is what I'm talking about when I want to go ahead and read a good Batman or a Joker, and in the case of this Batman and Joker series, it's something that's going to go ahead and twist up and not just sit there and just taffy out a story that we've already read before. You can go ahead and stretch it as many times as you want, but it's just getting way too thin after a while. I like something fresh like this now. So thanks again. I'm all in on this. Totally dig it. And the other issue of issue number 2 of this Joker, man, stop laughing. That's what I'm talking about. And staying with my whole little rant of DC Monkey Prince. Now this is a stark contrast on what they normally do in this whole dark stuff. This is exactly what I'm looking for as far as doing something new and different and integrating into the whole DC universe. When you go ahead and you come from different angles, that's what we want to see. There's more than just a box. The box is actually a cube, right? We got 3 dimensions. And from there, we can go ahead and play with multiple dimensions of that too. But let's go ahead and think outside the box and get into a cube. And then we can go ahead and think outside the cube. That's where we get things like Monkey Prince. This is definitely different, but it still brings back something that has real gravity in the sense that you want to go ahead and come back for it because it isn't just something lighthearted or just something that is just constant, just whimsical little just, I don't know, this. It's not constantly joking. It's constantly joking and with some philosophy. There's constantly philosophy with some action. There's some action with some drama. It's exactly what you're looking for, when something is on the tail of something else, and it's just bringing you into a good story. Monkey Prince, highly recommend it. Punchline, not for everybody, definitely for me. I'm a Punchline fan. This this offers a different element that I like as far as when it comes to the women characters inside of the DC universe. I like Punchline. She's strong and strong in a different way. Not just a nutcase, somewhat methodical. Not just doing anything for just anything's sake. You can see the methodology behind a lot of decisions that are made in there, much like Joker-esque. I mean, and you can see that that's the whole idea is it's an individual that just try to model herself after looking at exactly what the Joker did his whole life. That to me is what her makeup is. Just drove herself nuts and just. Anyways, moving on. All right. When I was talking about Mark Silvestri before, this is another character that he actually developed years ago. He did it so long ago, he forgot about this character. So when this character came out on Dynamite, and I actually walked up to him for him to sign one of my books, he gave me a cool story about this, that he had totally forgot that he developed it, that they were bringing it out. It wasn't until almost like last minute they ended up telling him, yeah, by the way, you're doing this character. Thank you for developing it and give us the rights to it, because this is what we're going to do, which cherishes a story about a girl who watches her whole family get wiped out in front of her and decides, because they didn't see it, that she was watching it happen, that she decides to go ahead and infiltrate the family and try to wipe them out from the inside out. Pretty cool storyline. So yeah, to my knowledge, I believe I'm the only person or the first person that Mark has ever signed that book for. And the person next to him was rather shocked, because they never seen the book, and two, didn't have any knowledge of the association with the character and or the book with Mark. So that was fun. Moving on from Cherish, and that's Dynamite issue number 1. We cruise over to Hulk issue number 10. This has been an interesting ride. Now that we see this alien gamma ray thing that's this on this planet, and of this is okay. I'm liking it. I just trying to still, every time I feel like I know what's going on, it's ever so fleeting of the grasp that I have. So I'm trying to figure it out. Seriously. I'm enjoying it. It is an enjoyable ride. I'm just still trying to figure it out somewhat. Meaning I'm not confused on what's happening. I'm just confused on where am I supposed to be going? How does this relate to the story in the future, or will it ever? And are they just stroking me for the $4 they give me for every month? I don't know. I am enjoying it. I'm just not certain if I'm just being taken for a ride's sake. Demon Wars. Now, initially, this wasn't supposed to go on as many as it did. This, now going past way over a year and a half into, I think, almost 2 years now, was actually supposed to be 5 one-shots initially. Now, the success of these stories have been such, and the response is that to where she's going to keep doing it. Until sales drop and they show that there's no more interest in these things, she's allowed to keep doing. So I think I saw another 3 on the horizon that I know of. And I've thoroughly been enjoying this interesting take on the Marvel Universe through her eyes. Iron Cat issue number 5. This of the whole series is probably my second favorite. All right, this is another awesome one. As far as, again, this is my favorite cover. I've got to read this yet. This is the final issue. I've been enjoying this series. I enjoy Black Cat thoroughly. I like McKay's writing with this character. I really wish they wouldn't keep chopping up the series. It makes it difficult for an individual that has been continuously buying the series every time they chop it up and restart and chop it up and restart. And though my complaints are all there, I'll take it however I can get it. If I had to take a piecemeal here, a piecemeal there, and a piecemeal there to go ahead and make me a full meal to get me my Black Cat, I'll take it. So Iron Cat issue number 5 finishes out this miniseries, and I am so chomping on the bit. Go ahead and read that one too. I'm a Black Cat fan. I really like strong female characters in these universes. I like, more times than not, what they represent or what they're trying to represent, what they end up doing, and a lot of the messages behind the stories that are in there. So I dig it. All right, here we go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Armageddon Game, issue number 2. This one's losing me. I am a Turtle fan, but now that they spread out between the Armageddon game, the other Armageddon game pre-game, and then now I think they're supposed to do a post-game thing, and along with the regular series that started in issue number 129, I think it was, and I just okay, I get it, Rat King, and it didn't. Moving on. Barbaric Axagon issue number 3. This is awesome. This has me laughing out loud. I was getting my oil changed at the car dealership, and I had to keep checking myself that I'm laughing out loud almost every page that I was turning. This is such an enjoyable read. To read a Conan the Barbarian style character that's cursed to do what is always right, regardless of what he wants to do, because the axe that he wields is cursed, to desire blood of, well, a sinner essentially. And between the two and the conversation they have, and he's the only one that knows that, that the basically this axe is live. It's its own entity, and because he's the only one that can hear it. Other than every once in a while he travels with a witch that she has knowledge of this too, and I think in her own way has a way of hearing it, because she talks to it, I believe. It's just wild. It's so cool. And oh my god, some of the blood and gore that flies around in this thing, you want to cringe, but because of how whimsical some of the comedy is, and you're cracking up, and then you realize what you're laughing at when you're looking at the book. Anyways, Barbaric, Hexagon issue number 3, that finishes out the series, and that's another one I'm dying to get into. As you can see, I'm all over the map as far as my reading, and this is another testimonial to that. Here's Blink, issue number, I think it's 3, right? 4. That's what I said. You guys paying attention? Now, this is issue number 4. From issue number 3, we find out that this place that is like 2 large industrial buildings wide is, well, they were at some point, I think they said, man, we've walked over like 26 miles in this place. How can that be? So it's not what it seems at all. The story is this girl, she ends up not knowing much of her past at all, ends up finding some clips on the internet that jar some of her memory. She ends up tracking down where this place is, convinces a friend to go with her, and when they get inside this building, oh my, this is, there was a movie called, I think it was called Frankenstein's Army, and this reminds me of that. It is just, there is a lot of mental horror in there, in a sense of you're creating a lot of this, and it's creepy. It, just thinking about it is giving me the chills. I love it, and that's why I keep reading it. Heaven's Rejects, issue number 2. Imagine Charlie's Angels that are actually real angels that don't quite meet boot camp. No, they don't. They didn't. No, they don't cut the mustard. So they got kicked out of heaven. They don't quite fit in hell. So they have to go ahead, and they're just kind of mercenaries. They're like vigilantes for hire here on Earth. But they're the worst kind of, oh my goodness. And they're angels? It's awesome. So yeah, Heaven's Angels, or Heaven's Rejects, Source Point Press. Yeah, I recommend that. That's another one that'll keep you laughing. Moving over to True Cult, issue number 4. These guys are not the right guys to go ahead and try to be pulling off any type of crime, let alone a crime from Satanists. And they end up finding out that these are the wrong persons to go ahead and steal from. So yeah, amazing. That's a fun book. All right, here we go. It's an image anthology. If I recall, this is issue number 7. Yeah, issue number 7. These stories are awesome. The majority of the stories that I've been getting out of these things, I would say, I think, what is it, like 4 or 5? in every issue. So it's been about an 80% hit. 4 out of the 5 has been awesome every time. So just keep it coming. There's 12 in this. So issue number 7. Still got 6 more to go, or 5 more to go. Excuse pardon. All right. Now this is a book that I've been looking forward to get for about the past 5 months. Mr. Easta. And you're going, why did you buy so many? Well, 1, they were cheap. 2, whenever I see that you can buy one of those unlockable 10s and I can get them real cheap, I tend to get more and more. And 3, this is Kit Wallace's first book. Not only is it his first writing book, but this is all his art too. So he wrote and drew everything in it. Want to help the guy out. I like the guy. I know what this is. He usually does a lot of the art for and with Garrett Gunn on a lot of his source Scout comics. So I have a pretty good idea. Plus, I got to see some of the stuff already. What this is going to be about. I am so dying to get into this. Like I said, I've been waiting for this thing for months. I think it's like I said, I think it's been almost 5 months. I want to say it's been 5 months because I had to wait for it. It's been out for a while. Mr. Easta, a wild ride, not for everybody, adults only, please. All right, here we go. Definitely for kids. Why did I get this? My half brother is 16 years younger than me, and this was like the first. I think this was the first thing I introduced him to as far as comic books. Was the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday morning cartoon version, these Archies or something like that. That I was getting from Toys R Us. I still have them. So I'm buying nostalgia. So what I did is I'm just like well, they didn't have an DCBS back then, but I'm A B all the way through. So I have issue number 1. I have now issue number 2, and yeah, the reading just kind of brings me back of a time when I was just taking care of my half brother and reading these books to him. So yeah, it's cool stuff. Moving over to that from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday morning cartoon, we're going to move over to Firepower, issue 24. This, since the whole tradie thing that came out first to first introduce Firepower to the 24 issues that then followed. So now, almost a half years later, this has been consistently one of my favorite reads. Not a whole lot of people talk about it, but I know a lot of people that are reading it. And I haven't heard one individual that said that they dislike this book. To me, this is a no-brainer. This can easily be the next Walking Dead type book to be converted into an AMC type thing for the next 5 years. This is Firepower. If you're into a very fantasy style of martial arts, this is definitely a book for you. Firepower is just an amazing read, and Kirkman really knocked it out of the park with this. Ninjas, issue number 3. This is a story of 3 girls that are in college, 20-ish-year-old girls that are mercs for hire and considered expendable. So more times than not, they take out their targets, but you don't know if they're going to take each other out in the midst of that. And that's what this whole Ninjas is all about. It's a fun read, doesn't take itself seriously, and I try not to either, so that's probably one of the reasons why I really enjoy it. Moving over to not taking themselves seriously into She Bites, issue number 2. Scout, along with Dynamite, has really been taking a lot of my money. I've been really enjoying a lot of the books that have been coming out, and this is by no means any exception with She Bites, issue number 2. This book is a story about a 134-year-old vampire that's trapped in a 9-year-old body and has to come finally to terms with the fact that it needs a babysitter to do or assist in the things that she can't. Meaning she can't go in a bar, she can't get alcohol, she can't drive a car legally. These are all things that, is just becoming a nuisance now, and definitely in a modern era. So she hires a babysitter, and this babysitter has no idea what she signed on for. Uh, and it's just been so awesome to see what's been going on. So I'm so dying to get in issue number 2. I really like I like comedic books. I like books that definitely can take a heavy, something that would normally be associated with just nasty or gorish, or just something that is a heavy subject, or something that is normally considered taboo to even talk about, and just spin it. That way we can go ahead and confront these things that most people usually don't want to talk about. And I thoroughly enjoy that. I really do. I get a kick out of it. Moving over to Ghost Rider. This series has been really, really written well. I didn't realize how much of a Percy fan I really was, and then I realized how much, as I keep putting the next issue away, how much, you know, how many books I have. So as long as they keep writing this story with this new character too, exhausted, all this, I'm gonna keep reading it. And speaking of, Ghost Rider stories, I ended up buying this because, see, my first 2 issues of the original Danny Ketch stuff, well, they're signed by Javier, and I haven't want to really touch them, because how old they are now. If anything, I just kind of want to get them clean and pressed, and so this is cool because I get my first 3 issues back. So I can't wait to jump back into this. It's been a while. I like the new art too. So yeah, this whole big thing has three issues. You know what? This puts me almost in a John league. I'm moving up, John. See how it's a slow progress. It's a progressional. I'll get there. All right. So hey, I'm a hardcore metal dude, and Opus. Well, they've been taking a lot of the metal bands that I love, and they've been converting them into stories. A lot of these anthologies focus around usually, songs and or the album themes. In the case of this, Halloween, Seekers of the Seven Keys, is a story around Keeper of the Seven Keys album. Now, I don't know how it's told or any of that. I just know by the art and everything that was the goal. And from what little bit of the synopsis I was checking out, but I mean, look at the art. Look at this stuff. Isn't that cool? Even the album cover for the original band always has these really cool fantasy art looking stuff. So yeah, I'm not only dying to get in that one because I know that one has been out for a while, but also Cradle. So Cradle I thought they were going to do 6 issues. I guess they're only doing 5. So here's issue number 4, and here's issue number 5. And what they've been doing is they've been flavoring some of the Cradle's overall themed feel into these stories, but overall these stories have been revolving around the Countess Bath-Bray, much like in the Vanity stories have been doing the same. It's been interesting, and I've been reading something else that had the Countess in it, and coincidentally I work with a friend of mine that has the same last name that's associated with that family. It's just been blowing my mind how much, when you start looking into things, you're usually just 6 degrees away from almost anything. And it's been, because of reading that book, been bringing it to my attention how close a lot of things are to us. Creepy. All right, hey, moving over from that Cradle of Filth stuff, we're going. Danny does it every time. Those of you that know. We go over to Vanish. Vanish issue number 2. I'd say my only complaint about this is it just has a stereotypical feel that I would normally get from a Donny Cates story. Other than that, it's a little bit different than the Donny Cates story I normally get. I did like the whole first setup. It was a great, book as far as it caught me off guard. You know what I mean? That's why I considered it great. It didn't, but it is very, if I want to say stereotypical of Cates, it was very stereotypical of his writing style and delivery as far as my expectations of when he would normally deliver certain things. They were all on the points when I normally expected them. they just didn't go in the exact places that they did. That's why I enjoyed it. So that's why I am looking forward to this issue number 2. It was an enjoyable read, and I am all in. I do know that I think it's 4 issues for the first mini or something like that, and then it starts back up in somewhere in March, something like that. And I know something else is doing the same. So yeah, I'm in. I liked it. It's worth hanging out for. Junkyard Joe. Now this was a character that wasn't actually supposed to be as big as it was, in my opinion, and it turned out to be, in my opinion, a character that can carry its own. You don't have to read the original Geiger story to read this and enjoy it for its own. Plus, those in which that were in the military, I think you'll get something out of this, and it's on that you can definitely, maybe not in all ways and shapes and form, but kind of say, yeah, I kind of been there. Yeah, I can feel where that comes from. Or yeah, or at least know people that have. And that's the thing, is they talk about a lot of issues in here, PTSD. Just a lot is talked about in just the first issue, and I think that's why I am really looking forward to getting issue number 2, because how well issue number 1 was delivered, and how many messages were delivered in that one issue, beyond just trying to tell a regular story to go ahead and make you feel like you deserve spending your $4. It was also trying to deliver a couple other messages that I believe it did very well. All right, moving over from that, Junkyard Joe, issue number 2, we're going to cruise over to Artist Elite, issue number 4. I'm a huge fan of Artist Elite. Really big fan. Not only am I a huge fan of Artist Elite, but I am dying to go ahead and buy full-length issues of stuff. And one of my issues that I'm looking forward to buying is Sandwiches. Sandwiches is these girls, and they have a very interesting, wow, that was considerably louder than I thought. An interesting way of dealing with things. So I've been on every issue of Artist Elite Presents. I've been buying the A, B, C, and D of every one. I like the art, and the cool thing is you get a lot of times you get Tyler Kirkham art in one of those issues. So Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King, issue number 2. I love Godzilla. I'm a huge Godzilla kaiju fan of old. I like what they do with Godzilla. It is a very all ages book, and they've turned Godzilla into a champion of the environment, and I really like that. I highly recommend this as a book that you would, if you're looking for a book to go ahead and get, someone around 7, 8. That's a cool book. It really is. Shock Shop. Definitely not a book to get a 7 or 8-year-old. But this is stereotypical Cullen Bunn. And I definitely, if you're a Bunn fan, I definitely recommend it. This is a great book as far as trying to give yourself a little bit of creeps. Love the art. And this style of art carries all the way through. It's just not on the cover. So it's pretty cool. Another one I'm really enjoying is Boogeyman. Boogeyman is kind of assigned or self-assigns individuals. It was both. It was definitely both. And a boogeyman kind of challenges another boogeyman for the rights of the child. So now the child has a child protector that's a boogeyman. Interesting take. I like it. I'm definitely going to be all in. It was very well delivered, the first issue. So I'm definitely in. I liked it. Especially at the last, 2 pages of that. It was, Stuff and Nightmares, issue number 2. Now, if I recall, yeah, there's an R.L. Stine. Not only that, but R.L. Stine was doing a little contest that if you wrote 500 words and submitted it, and you got chosen, they would not only publish it, but they would give you money up front, which I thought was kind of cool. So, and that all came from this recent R.L. Stine delivery. I like R.L. Stine stuff. And it's been a while since I've seen R.L. Stine comic books. So, yeah, I'm getting them all. I like it. The first issue was fun. It was good. Dark Ride. This is dark. And how they ended issue number 1 was awesome. How they end up, hey, I've been on this ride. This is not new. Hey, wait, what are you guys doing? What? That's how they ended issue number 1. And that was, oh. So, yeah, I'm definitely all in on the ride for Dark Ride. And this is the Boo variant, which I'm liking that character. Speaking of liking characters, Sweetie, Candy, Vigilante. This is a new character out of Dynamite, and she's the daughter of the Candyman. If she chooses you and deems you worthy, well, she'll spare you. And this was one of the results of being spared. To learn more, you would have to read it. This is a very fun book. Again, it's another one of those books that doesn't take itself seriously. All the horror, all the gore, you kind of find yourself laughing, which I don't know if that's good. I'm just saying it's funny and enjoyable. So Dynamite, you guys are really just peeing me off. Keep up the good job. Keep giving you money. Zenoscope. Never really bought a Zenoscope book before until pretty much now. So when they had Oz the Return of the Wicked Witch, I not only bought a few copies, but Chris 26 and I would do a show every once in a while when we can called Looking Down the Road. And it's a show when we look at books that are coming out about a month and a half to 2 months down the road. Usually try to get when the solicitations first drop, giving you time for FOC. When we do the show, we offered a chance for anybody who was watching at the end to go ahead and be in our contest. Christina Payne was in our contest and she won. So she chose one of these 2 copies. So one will be going out to Christina. So this is the cover A. I'm looking forward to reading the series. Curious if all the art is consistent, for 1. And 2, I'm kind of curious, from what I was reading on the synopsis, the summary of it, it looked interesting. And then Christina will get this cover also. So these will be coming out to you, Christina. And that, oh no, there is a few more. Wait, there is definitely a few more. There you go. Okay, Wildcats. Bam. Now Wildcats are slowly making its way into the DC universe. So cool. I've been waiting since Batman 101, I think it was. When Grifter go ahead and joined in there for a little moment. I am looking forward for Wildcats to do a full integration to the DC universe. Let's change things up. I thought they were a decent team in the past. There just wasn't enough material wrote. I don't think it was properly wrote as far as thinking about the ongoing as it is an ongoing series. I think that was its only problem is Wildcats. I never thought was written in a way that if it ever took on a popular, how should I say, status, that it would be able to keep with a monthly ongoing on a constant and continuous level as far as it being good. And I think that's kind of what killed it. Because as far as the first few issues, they were cool. So as far as it coming out into the DC universe now, I'm looking forward. So, yes, I like my foily stuff. I'm part crow. What are you going to do? Got to get one of these things out. Yeah, definitely got to get one of these things out. Don't need them all. All right, now check this out. Anybody remember this? Hello, put your hand up in the air like you just don't care. Now, I ended up buying, 2 of the original black ones and then 1 of the white ones. I think I have a newsstand thing. And then 1 of the, second or third prints. Kai actually hit me up and he goes, hey, man, can we open that up? I'm like, yeah, sure. I have no idea what's in there. It feels really solid and real thick. I'm curious. There's supposed to be extra stuff in there. I don't know. If I come across another one of these things, I will pick it up. Interesting thing about this is I ended up picking up really, really cheap. I mean, really cheap. And then I was contacted by the person who sold me. Well, DCBS. They're like, we kind of made a mistake. So if you don't mind paying this, contact us because we're going to charge you this amount. I'm like, go ahead. So yeah, this is cool. It's pretty interesting. I'm just a backwards person. You would think I'd know. So kind of cool. Yeah, see the original had the armband in there. Yeah. Pretty wild. Takes me back. Shows me how old I am, really, what it does. All right, moving on from my age. And there the attention of, I bought me a Star Wars Yoda. I got me a Star Wars Yoda. Not only did I get me a Star Wars Yoda, but I ended up getting two of the 1 in 10s. I like them. This is, to me, this was a pretty cool movie still that they got from it. This was a neat pick that they got. So I also got a really good deal on it, and I just figured, screw it, I'll get two. There was another one on the wall, and they're like, "Hey, dude, if you want," I go, "No. You know what? I don't care what you're gonna offer me as a deal or anything like that. Let's just leave that one for someone else." I'm like, oh, that's cool. What people don't know is if they go there and they ask for it, they get it for free. I paid for it. All they have to do is go, "Hey, man, can I have that?" And they can literally have it. So, anyways, moving from that, Daredevil, issue number 5, got a design cover. Like this one so much. About 2. The other one is already put away though. This was cool, man. They got this whole old man Daredevil look to him, like the knuckles. Yeah, and I think that hey, what you know? That's everything. And for definitely Las Cruces, who stuck with me in an hour and a half now, dude, you're awesome. Seriously, I appreciate you. And everyone else that not only had time to watch this video, but like, subscribe, comment. I appreciate you that much more. And that's it for me, Entropy. You guys take care.